Hello, everyone. The book we're going to be talking about today will chill you to the bone. This is one of the most inventive creatures, monsters in a slasher book in a long time, and a very unique way in which this thing makes its appearance. It's going to change the genre, I think, and we're going to be talking about all that in just a minute. But first, I want to remind you that my book of short horror stories, called The Things That Happen at Night, is available at the link below in the description for only $3. And if you buy it, I hope you enjoy it. Now let's get on with the video. All right. So the book we're going to be talking about today is called Daphne by Josh Malerman. Now, this book is going to arrive on September 22nd, I believe. So just a few more weeks away. However, as always, I'll put a pre-order link in the description below so that you can get your hands on it when it releases. And you really want to do that for this one. You probably heard of Josh Malerman before. And somebody asked on Twitter, it was just a question, like, how come there's no female icons, I guess you could say, in the horror world? Not final girls or women escaping from the big bad, but how come there's no female villains? You know, the ones like Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, you know. And my answer to that is, I don't know. I really don't know. But I do have the solution. If this book ever gets made into a movie, I think not only is this character, this villain of Daphne, going to be iconic, but I could see it being a franchise. I could see future installments because it's just that good. Let's talk about Daphne, first of all. This is not your typical female you see in a horror book or a horror movie. 7 foot tall, likes to wear denim jackets, likes to listen to heavy metal in her car, in her garage, very loudly, so that all the neighbors can hear. And she might also, when she was alive, abduct and eat people as well, you know, as one does, I guess. But despite that, and if something like that happened in your town, you'd probably remember it for a long time. It would be on everybody's lips for the rest of eternity, especially a small town like the one we're dealing with in this book. But the whole town seems to have collectively erased Daphne from their memories. They don't speak about her. They don't think about her, and for good reason. Because as we'll learn, she might be dead, but she is still very much roaming around, waiting to murder people, waiting to kill a bunch of people any way she can. But the way she makes her appearance is if people talk about her or even think about her. So even thinking about this woman, Daphne, will bring about her spirit, I guess you can say. It could be a she, it could be an it at this point. But it brings her back to her killing ways. And as with anything in the real world, even like serial killers or other drugs of society, there's always a certain amount of people who are going to idolize these people. And sometimes to the point of obsession. And Daphne was no different, despite the fact that the town doesn't want to mention her, doesn't want to think about her at all. There's a few people who believe that she was some kind of goddess or god, and they're determined to write her name in various conspicuous places, get people to mention her, get people to remember and think about her, which will then, of course, bring her forth to cause destruction. And I love the concept of that, because for a whole town to forget that something like this happened and just erase it from their collective memory is fantastic. But this time, Daphne is going after a group of high school basketball girls team. And you can tell by the way Josh writes about that sport and about these girls in the book that he is very much into that game of basketball. It's almost, for these girls, it's almost a religious experience. They're very reverential toward the sport. They see it as an opportunity to go on to bigger and better things, once they leave high school, and they perform even some rituals around their sport, and it's the focus point of their life. But now, once Daphne starts coming back and these girls start getting killed, now not only do they have to worry about their future, they have to worry about what if they have no future. And so in that way, this book is also a very effective coming-of-age story about these girls. That they have bigger things to worry about than their future, because they're going to have to survive Daphne. They're going to have to figure out why she is making her appearance again. How come they were never informed by anybody about this evil that had taken place when Daphne was alive, and all the stuff that goes with that. And the kill scenes in here are fantastic. And the creepy factor is right through the roof, as always with Josh's books. He knows how to spin a story and weave these different elements together that will frighten you and will really make you think, like, how is this going to be stopped? How can you stop something like this? Because once you start thinking about it, it comes forth, right? But once it happens, you can't really stop thinking about that thing that's affecting your life like that, even though that might be the only way to stop it. So how do you go about destroying or getting rid of an evil where your very thought of that evil could cause it to happen to you? And there is one main protagonist in this book, one of the members of the basketball team. But really, this book is about the town itself and all the residents in it, even though they might take a minor role. But the fact that this town chose to collectively just forget about Daphne, and therefore these kids are unprepared for what's happening to them right now. They have to kind of figure it out for themselves. It makes it very, very creepy. It's got a very tense vibe to this book, because as Daphne gets closer and closer to our main protagonist and her friends are getting slaughtered all around her, she has to decide what to do about it. She has to figure out this mystery. And why would somebody want to intentionally bring this evil back into this town after what she had done when Daphne was still alive? And like I said, man, I can see Daphne, just the descriptions in the book, man. If they did it right, that could be a movie franchise, because it's a very frightening, very scary creature. And Josh even said himself, it's not like she's the female Freddy. She is a very non-sexualized female horror villain unto herself. I'm paraphrasing, but basically what he said in an interview, and I would agree with that 100%. It was good to see a villain like that doesn't, she's not running through the woods worrying about her boobs falling out of her top or, latest fashion accessory. She is a horrible, scary creature, and she's even more terrifying in death once she comes back than she was when she was alive, all 7 foot tall of her. And there's also different scenarios, different rumors on how she died in the first place. But some people are saying she was in her garage in her car listening to heavy metal music when some other kids decided to play a prank on her. And she might have fallen asleep in her car. They locked the garage door. She might have, choked to death on the fumes. She might have asphyxiated herself when they pulled that prank, but nobody really knows for sure. But that, again, that gets people thinking about her and the situation, and that, of course, causes her to appear again to continue her evil, killing, bloody ways. But this is a very effective book, very engaging, very engrossing, and I enjoyed it 100%. I enjoyed it thoroughly. He knocked it out of the park again, and you are going to want to go along for this ride. You're going to want to read this story, be frightened by it. Don't read it at night with the lights out. That's all I'm going to say to you. And so it is a slasher, but it takes that genre, twists it on its head, and makes it into something even more than just a slasher. And I really appreciate when authors can do that and do that this well, because it is a fantastically written book. You're definitely going to want to read it. And like I said, I'll leave a link down below so you can pre-order it on Amazon. Daphne. And also I'll leave a link down below to my book of short horror stories. I got my Instagram and my Twitter down there. I'd love for you to join me on those. And as always, thank you for taking some of your time, spending it here with me. I really appreciate you guys watching. And until we meet again, keep reading spooky, my friends.